What was it about the story of Shadow of Mages that inspired you to write it?
So I had collaborated with my friend Juliet, or we decided to work together. We'd seen each other's work. We're like, let's do something, and we were talking about what we wanted to create. We're both fans of fantasy, so we like things like '80s fantasy, things like Willow, or TV like Xena. Grew up watching Lady Hawk, things like that. Things are '80s fantasy is like, even when it's dark, it feel good and fun. And I felt like we weren't getting enough of that. There's a lot of dark, grim, dark things out there, and I want something that like really tugged on the heartstrings and just a story about friendship, but that's in this other world that happens to have magic and sword fights. And it was kind of chasing a feeling of like that's innocent fun, but with really cool stuff in it. And that kind of started us off on the adventure.
Now, in production, must have helped having your Juliet. What I was going to ask about being a part of the project from early on. Did that help kind of like get the project going and also connecting on the story?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as our leading lady, she's a big fan of fantasy, but also has a community around her, a lot of followers for that kind of thing. And we connected through those types of events. So it was just really cool to like have sort of a muse for that kind of a thing. But yeah, we're nerds. Like we talk about the TV shows that we've seen that we feel like no one else has seen. So being able to have collaborators and friends who are excited about that kind of thing just really helped the ball roll very quickly, because like from idea to script to production was much faster than most of all of my other projects.
Now, I'm sure you love it as a writer. You have all excited. Was there a scene you regretted writing? It's like, oh my God, this scene drove me crazy as a director. We pulled it off, but man, that was a hard one when I initially thought of it.
I mean, action scenes in general are just hard, and I love them. Like it's not that I regret doing them, but there's just always so much that goes into them, and they take longer than I think. So it's like when I'm planning those things, it's specifically the first action sequence that we have is less of a fight scene and just a lot of quick things that happen. So in production, it's very difficult because it's like planning a montage of stuff, but you have to get each piece, and they're all separate. And the only person that really has a plan for it is me in my head. So a lot of that time for that sequence, there's a lot of people like, wait, what are we doing? And I'm like, okay, we're shooting part 3 of it first, but then we do part 1, but then we get a shot for that. And so once it all edited together, I watched it, I'm like, it works, good. But yeah, so it was a little tough to get there, yeah.
We have a lot of directing students in our audience, actually. I'm curious, is there any moment, shot, scene that you're most proud of? Something, could be even a subtle one. Doesn't have to be dramatic, like, you know what, take a look at it because I'm really proud of this one.
There's a few. I mean, when I can, because there's so much happening on set, and so much large, grand stuff that's happening, it can be a lot, and it's a lot to cover. But sometimes there's just that close-up where it pushes in just a little, and we really get that moment of drama of like, this is the exciting part, or this is what's happening in the character's head that really just brings it alive. And to me, that's magic. So I'd say that's the standout stuff that always makes me feel good. I'm like, I'm glad that's in there, and it just adds that. And then bits of comedy where there's like a lot going on in a shot, where in our action sequence we have like some people entering frame while they're struggling, and then through them we see other people dialogue, and then they exit. So it's like this very complicated like crossing shot that just was one of the first things that came into my head. I'm like, I think this will be really fun. I don't know if it'll work. And then we did it a few times and it worked, and I'm like, that's another one of my favorite shots.